Okay. I know. Work that pole. You see how I'm slowly getting back into my cot? I'm slowly getting back into my bag. Very mindful, very demure. Hello. You couldn't get rid of me that fast, bitch. There was something else I needed to come and talk about because honestly, the diva refused to talk about it. Okay? Because my higher self this whole time had told me throughout this whole situation that I'm gathered here today with the storytime pillow to talk about. My higher self knew better. You know what I'm saying? I think this story is more so to focus on the lessons I learned from the situation, more so than me actually. Well, let's talk about it, okay? I was talking to a friend, and when I was talking to this friend, they had seen the last video I uploaded. When I was like, "Girl, could you about to take over? I can't, I don't want to do this shit no more." You know, in terms of be personal and things like that. And my friend had clocked me. She was like, you didn't only like get distant from like YouTube and stuff, like you got distant from everybody in real life kind of also. And I was like, oh, clock that T. And then she proceeded by asking me like, what else happened? Because I know you, bitch. Like you know, you're kin, you know, you're kin. You don't just fold easily or whatever. So what else was going on? Like what else what else happened? And when she had said that, it was like a moment of realization. I was like, that's the real shit. I was kind of like, I wasn't embarrassed in a moment, um, because like I've come to terms with what has happened. I've come to terms with what I've experienced and stuff like that. And genuinely, it was like the past stuff of me being like topics of conversation and different dramas and stuff like that, even if it was my own doing. Like, I think these new girls on the internet really need to learn that, like, girl, like, you think it's okay in a moment, but later on, this some shit might catch up with you, at least for me, okay? I've already explained in part. But something else that had happened is that I got involved with an individual. We're gonna call him, we're gonna call him Pussy Boy. And I want everybody to think Pussy Boy down below in the comment section. But when you spell Pussy Boy, okay, because girl, me just saying that like that, they might not even monetize this video. But when I say it, when y'all spell it in the comments, PUSSIBOI, okay, everybody say thank you. Especially like the doors. Like, thank you for really pushing Kenny to the edge to get back in the motherfucking bag. You know what I'm saying? To get back to the con, to get back into the things, because it was the situation and the closing out of the situation that really made me say, oh girl, never again. The way this situation ended, I'm about to talk about it, but the way it ended was him basically telling me, you will never be nothing without me. The other woman has time to... You don't tell no self-made bitch no shit like that. Like, no bitch that got it up out the mud. I've never had a silver spoon, sweetie. Only person that could ever say they genuinely like help me in life is my sister. Okay, that's about it, bitch. So for him to even come out the woodwork like that, we don't do that over here. Like, hold the fuck up. But I'm sorry that I gave you. I'm not gonna get emotional. Oh my god. I'm sorry that I gave you the false sense of power to think that you ever had like that much control. Like you, like I wouldn't be nothing without you. That's ridiculous. Once upon a time ago, I'm not going to say exactly when, but it was like pretty much fresh out of LA, and I don't want to say I hit rock bottom, but like I had like a major friendship in. I had some other shit going on. My father had died shortly after, etc. And there was this man that came into my life, and he was peculiar in a way that like genuinely I looked at it as like, oh, I could take a hiatus now. Like, oh my goodness, like, you know, he had a little coinage, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I seen it as a gateway. I was like, okay, thank you. But little did I know that it was like a gateway into a much major lesson that I think that I really had to learn. Me, I'm a very self-confident person. Always have been. Never truly been an overthinker until I got on the internet. That's when I started overthinking everything in life or whatever. and all that. But one thing about me is that I've always had this, oh, this is me being brutally honest. I've always had like this open gaping hole in my heart to like, a longing for a lover. Genuinely. And I think the real reason I want to come make this video before I dip is to specifically talk to my femme queer people. And I know a lot of women will relate to a lot of things I'm about to talk about today also. Maybe not, but I know a lot of my femme queer people, especially of color, would fully relate to this, maybe. Okay, it probably depends on how you was raised, etc., right? And your experience within the world. So it don't have to do with a label that you are, but more about your experience in the world. Being black, femme, and queer from the South, I hate labels. However, like, it's just the way we operate this world, right? Loving someone, like finding a lover, it's not the easiest thing. It's not the easiest thing. I always say that the line of dudes that like want to fuck me, very lengthy. Out the doors, around the corner. The line of dudes that want to get to know me, not as large. And I think that's the case for a lot of people these days, right? But this guy, when we found each other, it gave off like he really wanted to know me. And we did get to know each other. We got to know each other very, very well. And we learned a lot about each other in a very short amount of time. It sort of advanced the situation into like having deep feelings for each other very quickly. One could say that we was trauma bonded, okay? Off the rip, he told me that like he's figuring himself out like sexuality wise and stuff like that. And I, being a femme queer person, I understand, you know what I'm saying? I understand when men are uncomfortable with fully being themselves. And I think it's difficult to even sit and tell this story because while I really want to light this nigga up, there's still this soft spot there that's like, but I understand a lot of what the black man goes through, genuinely. And it's not talked about a lot in the open, but black men do experience a lot of things. So I have a sort of soft spot for black men, even though it's like, get your grown ass up and do what you gotta do, okay? Use your privilege in this world to get it done. But the thing about that privilege in this world when it comes to a black man is very much so almost like a false privilege. It's like, oh, you think you got that privilege because you're a man, but guess what? Your black ass, calm down. Genuinely, that's what the world tells black men. Genuinely. I think that's why conversations of like emasculating the black man always pops up. And my argument to that is like, that's ridiculous because it's not, if it's emasculating a black man, it's emasculating a white man, point blank period, right? So we got to know each other. And it had to be like, I want to say like 2 months into getting to know each other like very well. Like I said, this escalated quickly. And I ended up finding out that he had a partner. Now this partner that he had was like a girlfriend, like on the verge of being wife, girlfriend, okay? And when I found out about this, genuinely, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I believe I had took like a 1 week break or 2 week break from even talking to him because I was just like, you should have told me that off the rip. Like, give me the opportunity to even want to participate in this, you know. And by the time that I found out, I already had very, very deep feelings. Like, I thought that he was going to be working through being, you know, able to be out in public with me and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And he was never going to get that. So that's my first thing. He's never going to get that. Take that man for what he is, not for what he can become. I just thought, I wished upon a star. Oh, this is really going to be like my man. It's like, this is really going to be a life partner. And remind you, I had this deep longing for love. Right? So when I found out that he had a woman, a real tuna, not even tuna, but a koi, okay? Bitch, woman, bitch, beautiful woman. I backed away, but a week later after finding out, I hit him up and I was like, are you good? Just because that's the type of person I am. Like, I'll just be want to make sure people good. Like, if I say I love you, I'm not just saying that free willy and nilly. You know, like, I mean it. And then he kind of reeled me back in. Now, it was easy to reel me back in because I loved him, you know, and I was open. I didn't close myself off. That was mistake number 2. I should have closed myself off completely. No contact or nothing. But understand my position in this world. So he reels me back in. We end up having a conversation, and he told me that their relationship was on the rocks and stuff like that. What it really was is that he wanted to have his cake and he wanted to eat it too. He wanted the best of both worlds or whatever. He wanted to participate in this fantasy of that, because I say a fantasy for him because like I know what he really likes. It's no fucking shade. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of these niggas that will walk around acting like they like the woman out in the real world, but behind closed doors, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Can't live out their real life in the full world because the full world tells them like, no, you can't. Especially as a black man, you can't be free. You can't be, you just can't do that. You already have enough dangers against you. You know what I'm saying? I have met countless black men. I have been on dates with countless black men or whatever. And it's always, like, I promise you, I say I've been on 8 dates in the last 2 years, all right? Out of 8 of those dates, at least 7 of them niggas mentioned something about police shit and stuff like that. So that's what I say. There's a soft spot. And that's why it's hard to get on camera and light him up. Because this was really about to be another video. I started off the video telling y'all to thank Pussy Boy. That's crazy. This was really about to be a whole nother video. Of me like being on one. Like, fuck you, nigga. Da 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 da. But literally, as I'm sitting in front of this camera, it's just like all settling in. Like, but at the same time, like there's 2 sides to the story, right? He made me feel like it was okay to keep fucking around with him and fooling around with him. And I did. For about a year. For about a whole year, I played housewife. I played a stupid bitch. You know, in that year, I genuinely lost myself. But I did find a much more valuable piece of myself. So I don't even take back this happening. But in that year, I found out a lot about myself. You know what I'm saying? And it took dealing with him and, ooh, bitch, wait a minute. Oh, girl, because it's all coming back, bitch. Wait a minute. So, while I am not going into detail with this story, you can catch glimpses of this story throughout Kadiba's music. So stick around. And heavy glimpses of the story. Because one thing is that, like, after I found out, I think that going back to him, this is kind of embarrassing. You know, I became like, bitch, please. You hear these stories, like growing up and stuff about the other woman, quote unquote, and it's like you never think that you will be put in these situations, like you would allow yourself to be in these situations until you fully experience it. You know what I'm saying? I would literally call another bitch a stupid bitch for dealing with it, you know? But you never know until you end up in a situation. I think when I went back to him, it gave him a certain type of power over me. And I think that his view of me switched to like a weaker person. And I swear to you, it's as if he started picking up on my insecurities and stuff like that. You know, like I will never be a woman. It's no shade. I could go out, get the titties. This man actually asked me to get titties. I could go out, I could get the titties. I could do everything. I could still, like, it's not to compare and contrast or whatever, but it just is what it is. Because every archetype of a human, woman, man, whatever the fuck, and in between is here for a very special reason. And they're all very equal in a way. So, but catch what it is I'm saying, you know? But I think going back to him, it gave him a bit more power over me because I also was staying for a lot of the benefits. A lot of times when the girls talk about like fucking on rich niggas and stuff like that, blase. I almost wish that like a lot of the girls would be very open with some of the things that comes with that. You know, like it comes with dealing with a lot of emotional turmoil. There are literally like 3 different baddies, Instagram baddies that I know. Beautiful girls, some natural bitches too, beautiful. They ended up in situations with the wrong nigga and they don't even post no more. You know what I'm saying? So in that year, it started off decently okay. but it continues to go downhill in terms of he got, I don't want to call it abusive, because even though there was emotional abuse, and I think sometimes emotional abuse can very much so be just as detrimental as physical abuse, because of the emotional abuse can stay with you a lot longer. But what I'm trying to say is, like, he started using his power. There was a little physical abuse, but the thing about physical abuse with me, I'm a sturdy bitch, and that don't make it okay or whatever. It wasn't like extreme. Like, when you hear physical abuse, I think we always think of like the extreme instances, like Cassie and Diddy for okay, we think of the extreme things, but there are other minor things, like just pushing, shoving, choking, bitch. That it was never fist flying. Oh, it was never fist flying, bitch. Okay, I would have been and found a Glock. Okay, it was never fist flying, but it was like, like a push, a shove, maybe a choke or whatever. And like, I kind of have to make it lighthearted, even though that's not a lighthearted thing, and I know that's not a lighthearted thing. But like, I would fight back. I would push and shove back. Like, nigga, don't hold up. You getting crazy? I'm not that one. Wait a minute. And it honestly makes me feel like if I was going through that, I wonder what homeworld was going through. It's no shade. The emotional abuse, it became very, very rampant. He was like a mastermind in the sense where, because he knew so much about me, in terms of like, he did know the few insecurities that I have about myself, you know what I'm saying, existing in this world as the human that I am, etc., etc., etc. And he really did use that to his advantage or whatever. There were comments like, that's why I don't do story times no more. This story times got dark. Like, it's not that they got dark. I think it's just that my mind expanded and I started seeing the different sides of the stories. Because 20-year-old me probably would have been like, yeah, I took that bitch, man. It's no shade. It's no shade. And not that that's anything to take pride in, but that was 20-year-old me. I'm not 20-year-old me no more, okay? And while dealing with this man, I wasn't 20-year-old me no more. My mind had immediately begun to expand. This situation was a huge part into why I began to like really hide from the entire world or whatever. And it's because he was keeping me hidden from the entire world. And when they say like your mindset becomes your reality, it literally becomes your reality. You know what I'm saying? The way you think and stuff. So me going to hotel here and there, blase, sneaking around, can't even be seen, never could be seen together in public, for real. And the times where we were caught in public together, it was very much so like the whole energy shifted. I became like an accessory, like the dynamics shifted. Like, it went from baby to what's up, bro type shit or whatever. And just having to play into that, I think, started to really seep into my mind and made me want to hide from the world, for real, because I felt very low about myself. This man made me feel very, very low about myself. And it's not to victimize myself or whatever, because I almost want to say he's a victim of this world. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation for later. However, it made me feel very dirty about myself. Like, I stopped wanting to get glam and things like that. Sorry for skipping around, but I did end up leaving him. I did end up, calling it complete quits or whatever, because he told me, like, you will never be nothing without me. And you will never make it anywhere with your attitude. Whatever the fuck he wanted to tell me. Speaking to the point of even coming to talk about this, when you are in a situation where like you hurt or something, don't let nothing in this world fuck up your frequency. If it's not aiding to the high frequency that you just naturally are upon, don't let it fuck up your frequency. Because when you close yourself off in many ways, when you hide from the world, you know what I'm saying, you start to miss out on all the beautiful things that are for you inside of this world. And I think this can go beyond like a dating situation. This could go down to like the black people as a fucking race or whatever. I think a huge problem with black people as a race is that we are constantly told to like hide our blackness. You know what I'm saying? We're told to just hide. Like we're told that we can't be ourselves. And when you can't operate as yourself in the world, it cuts you off from the great things that this world has to offer you. You feel where I'm coming from? Don't ever close yourself off. I have missed out on a lot of things, not just due to this situation, but a whole lot of other shit, including just childhood trauma, bitch, or whatever. But we are butterflies, and we are transforming out of this shit. We are taking these shits, and we're taking lemons and turning it into lemonade. That's what we do. We are the alchemists. Be the alchemist. You know what I'm saying? Even when you do experience some negative things, bitch, the amount of art that this situation is inspired, oh, bitch, I'm gonna get something back, okay? I'm gonna get all of my years back. I'm me snitching on myself. It's crazy. On camera trying to tell a whole motherfucking story, bitch. Scared to speak the motherfucking facts, bitch. I'm scared to speak the facts. Remain open. Remain open. And if it's anything that closes you off, get it from around you. Remain open. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if there was a point in really coming to sit down and talk about this. More so, I think it feels good to get something like this off my chest, because I do want to show people like I'm not a fucking perfect human being. You know, I do fucked up shit sometimes. I am very toxic sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I'm toxic. And I think the first step is to admitting. You have to acknowledge the toxic shit and fully acknowledge it in order to even fully try to transform it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't fully acknowledge that toxic shit just go sit there. And it's gonna sit there, and toxic shit don't age too well, okay? Let it go. Like Elsa said, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. The cold never bothered you anyway. This cold world never bothered you anyway. Maybe it did, but let it go. This felt good to even talk about this openly or whatever. And I knew it would feel good, even if this only makes it on Patreon. I knew it would feel good because I felt good after talking to my friend about it. And my friend was like, you shouldn't feel bad or whatever. We all fuck up. And I think one thing about this online space is that it always forces you to have to be like on your A game or something like that, or just wanting to be. That's where the perfectionism comes from. Because everything is so judgy, you know, like we can't even be real. We can't get to the real conversations. We can't talk about the real shit because you can't give your opinion on a situation that might be outside the regular opinion because you probably in fear that, like, bitch, somebody might try to tap my ass, and I don't wanna sit on in the internet getting dragged and shit like that. You get what I'm saying? Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect whatsoever. But I'll tell you this, I have a very good heart. I have a very good spirit. And I always mean well. I mean so well that I did leave that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And I left him after he left her. Gag City. Because he was never for me. He was just a lesson. I took it. I've learned a new a love for myself, a new amount of appreciation for myself and what I have to offer. Because one thing I can say is that man was happy around me for the most part. That man used to tell me things like it's the most free he's ever been. Just able to let his freak flag show, able to let all his colorful rainbow show and everything. I heard a whole lot from him. And even though we didn't end off on the best note, he did a whole lot for me because I wouldn't be the 2.0 version of myself if it wasn't for him. And there's more niggas in the book. I think he did the most damage. Him and an ex-friend did the most, not the one y'all know. Another friend. I paid that nigga phone bill. That nigga sends me back a phone. The phone was cracked. Girl, paid this phone bill for fucking months. I will never get over that. And he just went ghost on me. Fuck that nigga. Down boots. Fuck him to the core or whatever. Because he put on the biggest front. Girl, don't believe the fronts that niggas put on. And I hate to be the one to be like, don't believe these niggas. These niggas is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the men, though, that are just fully liberating themselves and existing as free as they want to exist. Because y'all some real ones. That's all. I don't have nothing else to say in this video. I feel like for the past 5 minutes I've been stuttering. And I'm going to go now. Have a great day. Meet you on Just Ken. I will meet y'all on Just Ken. Subscribe to the Patreon. Toodles.
Why we could never be a family.
like a giant tree. Can't plant your feet in the ground.